Alrighty, so it looks like we're recording. So I was summoned to a string of tweets by somebody, and this here it says, "In the end, I have no doubts that trans rights will eventually be recognized as much as gay rights. There will always be transphobes like there'll always be homophobes, but I know for a fact that all this trans panic is temporary." Now, when this person says trans rights, they don't actually mean human rights, because any communist who identifies as a troon has all of the rights that everyone else has, like, already. What he's talking about is a position of power and privilege over everyone else in society because they demand special privileges and call it rights. So let's move to the next tweet. Trans panic is a way for people like Trump and other conservatives to distract their brainless followers from real issues and rile them up with anger. We're going through a huge setback RN, seeing as the sequel to Hitler is running over America, but in the end, we will prevail. Now, that sounds profoundly stupid because it is. One, there's no such thing as a trans panic. In fact, the vast majority of society isn't concerned enough with the transgender movement because they don't know anything about critical queer theory. On top of that, Hitler sequel, like the sequel to Hitler, really? I thought the sequel to Hitler was Stalin, but we're not ready to talk about how bad the Soviet Union was or how horrible any of the things that communists have done throughout all of history. No, it's just he's Cheeto Hitler. He's bad. We gotta just get that off the table right away. That's retarded. It's ridiculous. The guy's not even doing a heckin' fascism like they keep saying he is. But conservatism at its core is flawed. BC humanity will always evolve. It will always change, no matter how hard you try to stop it. You can't fight change. You can't hold on to traditional beliefs and values forever because it is in our nature to keep on evolving and progressing. Look, I'm actually retarded. I'm kind of dyslexic, but at least I use commas. Heck, I use them too much. I'm fucking retarded. Yeah, look, conservatism at its core is flawed. Sounds reasonable to someone who doesn't reason. I get it. But the thing is, if I want to go back to literally the year 2012, that's conservatism. And to say, okay, well, fine, we're going to keep evolving, we're going to keep progressing. What happens when you get your transgender movement to dominate humanity? That has to go away eventually too, right? But they don't want to hear that. No, so instead of engaging in accelerationism and getting to the part where we get rid of the transgender stuff, he wants nature to take its course. Why? Why go out of your way to curate and manipulate reality if you're just going to try and force it to stay in line with what nature would have decided as our natural sociological evolution? Of course, he didn't think that far because he doesn't think at all. It's simple stimulus response, which is perfectly normal for most people with average IQs. That is why conservatism will never fully succeed. They may win some battles here and there, but they'll never win the war because progression and evolution is embedded into us as a species. Okay, well, let's go to the last one here. TLDR, conservatism at its core, obsolete and cannot persist forever because it conflicts with human nature. And therefore, one day all this trans panic will be gone, along with all other injustices going on our end. Okay, so that is profoundly retarded. Like, I get it, this guy doesn't really understand any facet of reality. He's not invested in basic things like thought to begin with. But the whole idea that this conservatism will never succeed thing, this guy's actually talking about something that's largely dead now, though people like him are trying to bring it back to life by constantly terrorizing people and lying and cheating and stealing. I mean, that's why you're starting to see a rise in Christo-fascists on the internet nowadays, because people are so sick of these people, they want actual totalitarianism to get rid of them, which is childish and retarded, because getting Hitler is what gave us more communism in the long run. Like, you guys aren't really doing yourselves any favors when you demand we get rid of liberalism because you don't understand it. And yes, I'm talking to you post-liberals who don't actually understand liberal text. Because when you actually say stupid shit like Jean-Jacques Rousseau was a liberal, no, he wasn't. He appealed to freedom as a concept because it's a moral good and because he was willing to lie, cheat, and steal to get totalitarianism, which is pretty fucking simple to understand if you actually read the text and actually read the works of other classical liberals, but that's beside the point. Right now we're focusing on this guy. And this guy keeps, like, conservatism will never fully succeed. Well, what does he mean by succeed? I mean, to succeed from the perspective of a conservative is to just have something good and keep it. Like, it's not just to have anything. Like, we didn't conserve slavery. We didn't conserve child marriage, right? But these conservatives want to conserve the things that are good. People like me, I'm technically conservative, because even though I'm not far-right extremism, you know, I'm just a regular guy, I want to turn back the clock and get rid of all communism. Like, I can't stand postmodernism even. I want to get rid of that. That aside, it says conservatism at its core is obsolete. He didn't say is, but it's obsolete. Well, why? Why is it obsolete? Because you've decided something is better? You've just arbitrarily chosen to believe that what is new is good automatically? Well, slavery was new. Why did we get rid of it? It was new, right? We evolved to the point where we had slavery. Why did we get rid of it? I mean, assuming that you're right, we're going to progress, we're going to evolve, well, why keep what you posit? Why keep what you're suggesting? What's the reason that we should keep this around? I can't think of one. You've never thought of one, and you never will, because thinking is literally against your religion. And let's be very clear right now. The entire concept of accepting the transgender movement is based entirely on faith and is purely religious. Because once you apply reason at all, you can't actually believe any of these things. None of them are rational. Every belief that is leftist in nature and, in quotes, progressive, is rooted in faith, in opposition to reason. People don't believe these things because they can be proven true and because you can use reason to approximate whether or not something is true. It's based entirely upon consensus and authority, and a lot of it is just people are groomed into being less intelligent, less rational, and all around more impulsive and emotional. I mean, we're looking at a whole generation of permanent children just amongst me and other millennials. Most of us don't grow up to be adults. You're just a bunch of brain-dead children. And the next generation after us is more fucked than we were. And the next one, I mean, dude, there's literally videos of children being addicted to their iPads, like 4-year-old toddlers screaming and crying because they need their cocoa melon. And you think that this is evolution, that this is good, and it must happen because it's new? Yeah, I don't think so. Actually, we can just choose not to do bad things. But of course, this guy probably also believes that black people are innocent angels who didn't do nothing and just go commit crimes because white supremacy exists, I guess. Because those people don't have agency and they just can't help themselves and they have to do bad things, right? Just how, like, we have to evolve and we have to progress. Well, this isn't actually evolution. It's not actually progression. It's actually regression if you understood the history of critical queer theory and the direction that all of this leads. But that's another discussion for another time, and I'm too lazy to dig through all of that text and actually cite sources, because this could take, what, hours? I mean, look at the work James Lindsay has done over the years, and he still hasn't covered everything. But that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the Guilty Gear gameplay in the background, because it's very important to remember that Guilty Gear used to be a pretty good series of games, and Bridget always has been and will be a man. Well, he was a boy, now he's a man. The whole purpose of Bridget's character and his actual story was about him proving that he could be a man despite being groomed into being a woman. You know, like transgenders nowadays. That's everything. Bye.